Oh, you have no idea how many people do that.
This is one best second V1 here with my good friend here. This is his Nordic deck that he ran for regionals, and it's really, really good. So I'll just let him get right into it.
Alright, this is not the exact deck list that I ran a couple weeks ago at regionals, but it's close because it's the new format and whatnot. So we'll just get right into it. I'll do the main deck, the extra deck, and we'll do the side deck as well. We have 3 Vanitas. A lot of people run 1, a lot of people run 2. These people don't know how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! They run 1 or 2 because they say it's not that good. This card is probably the most retarded tuner we have in the game. It's better than Plague Spreader, it's better than Gale, and they're at 1. The only thing that those two have over Vanitas is the fact that they're splashable. Vanitas in a Nordic deck can give you access to any tuner from level 5 to level 10. No other tuner in the game can do that.
Very, very true.
3 is a must. We have 3 Goldfax. Goldfax is essentially your basic 4-star tuner that can replace Vanitas if you don't have a Nordic monster on the field. If you don't have a Nordic monster on the field, you can sync with Goldfax, and Goldfax will be the main card that will give you access to your level 8 synchros.
You want me to aim at you too, like your face?
Oh no, I don't care.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like,
okay.
So I don't know nowadays.
We have 3 white goats. I'm not going to say their name because I don't want to offend our Scandinavian friends that we have here on YouTube by slaughtering their language. So we have the white goats. The white goats, when it's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, it gets 2 level 3 beast tokens to your side of the field in defense position. Level 3 beast, earth, 0 attack, 0 defense. These are your token pooping cards. Next we have 3 black goats. 3 black goats says that when one of your monsters is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon it from your hand. When it is switched from defense to attack position, you can special summon a Nordic beast monster from your deck to your side of the field in face-up defense position. Generally what you're going to do is either by special summoning it via its effect, or if you have it face down and flip it face up, you'll generally want to bring out Goldfax. If you have a tuner in your hand already, such as Vanitas or Goldfax, then you can bring out a white goat. And then you can just do your level 10 or even level 7 shenanigans if you want.
Which is always good to do shenanigans.
It's always good to do shenanigans. 3 is a must. Next, we have 3 super mega awesome hamsters.
Always a good name.
These are going to be your main searchers in the deck. These will grab either of your goats from the deck, your side of the field, face down defense position. A great first turn set, because generally your opponent will only be able to summon 1 monster on their turn, barring Cyber Dragon. They attack into it, it gets flipped face up, then you can special summon a black goat to your side of the field and face down defense position to flip on your turn and special summon either a white goat or Goldfax.
Combo pieces.
If your opponent decides to bunker down with 3 or 4 set speller traps, during your next turn you can flip up the black goat, grab Goldfax, synchro into Black Rose, and nuke their field. And you still have a summon.
Punishes very overextensive players. A lot.
We have 1 Valkyrie.
Why 1? Just mind me asking.
I don't like her. I I've watched videos here on YouTube that run 2 and 3, and everybody says that she is just this great tuner. Generally, the same people that say Vanadis is a terrible tuner. I don't like Valkyrie only because she.
This Mon can't be damaged by abilities that do like 10, 30, 40, 50, 70.
She's terrible with hand management.
That's very true.
So like there was like a small number of
because if you're going first, it's probably not that bad. You're still losing 2 in-hand Nordics though, and so essentially you're losing 3 in-hand cards to get 1 card on the field. And so you have 3 cards left in hand, while your opponent is going to have 6.
So you're minusing yourself big time for it.
Big time. If you're going second, that's even worse. Because you summon her, remove the 2 Nordics, bring out Odin, and he runs into Solemn Morning. And eventually when the priority ruling comes out, and you can no longer priority on your turn, Bottomless Trap Hole becomes a problem as well. As well as Compulsory.
And anything else
that will, and so you've essentially minused yourself 3 cards, and they still have 6 in hand.
So it's a tuner. That's the big thing for you.
Exactly. It's a tuner, and it will allow me to use Vanadis' effect to send her to the graveyard, make her a level 2, so I can use my 2 3-star goat tokens to her to make a level 8. So I can use her in a pinch if I really, really have to, but generally she's just there for level 8 synchroing. I'm very rarely ever going to use her effect. Summoner Monk. I'm probably going to end up taking this out since I really am not running a whole lot of spells in this deck. It's really trap heavy. Essentially, it's just a quick level 8. Just discard a spell, get gold facts to the field. Just a real quick level 8.
Do stuff like that with like scraps and stuff like that. Try to do the same basic principle here.
Exactly. Or if you have tokens on the field, you can bring out Vanadis as well.
Oh, that's a good idea too.
If needs be, and you still have your monk on the field as well. So probably gonna take it out because I'm only running, I believe, like 11 spells.
Oh wow.
So which isn't too many. Gores, Tragodia. Just
what can you say? They're Gores and Tragodia.
Yeah, I had Morphing Jar in here, but more often than not, I had a big enough hand that I really didn't want to set it.
And you always have cards that you have in your deck already, main deck, that you want to set already.
Exactly. All right, spells. We have 3 Pot of Avarice. I main deck 3. Because this deck just goes through monsters and synchros, like, it's just ridiculous how fast. And barring Pot of Avarice in your opening hand, which will happen, and does happen, it's very rarely ever going to be a dead card. Very rarely.
You milled a lot in your deck already through synchros and all that jazz.
Exactly. And I had a duel the other day with this deck. I was going up against Gladiator Beast deck. And I dropped Black Rose on him 4 times in one duel.
Ouch.
I just used the Pot of Avarice to just drop it back in, and I dropped it on him 4 times.
Ouch.
Yeah. Preference, I run 3. You can get away with 2, but you can run 3. I played against the Gravekeeper's deck. They had Necro Valley on the field. I had 2 Pot of Avarice in hand. I finally was able to get rid of the Necro Valley. Yeah, I pretty much just reset my deck.
Yeah. So that way you didn't have to worry about it.
So 3 is good. 2 Forbidden Lance. The biggest problem is Odin's effect does not carry over to my opponent's turn. And so if they have Dark Hold, Smashing Ground, Fissure, and I don't have any Nordic Ascendant tuners in my graveyard, Lance will at least protect them for that 1 turn. And then I can just use his effect. Same thing with Thor as well. It'll protect him. Basically, it's a protection on my opponent's turn.
Because Bottomless is really huge. Even if, like, yes, you have Odin, but like Thor can't protect himself and all that jazz.
Exactly. 2 MSTs. Necro Valley is a huge problem. Granted, I can spam Black Rose, but it's never hurt, especially with Gladiator Beast, Samurai.
Anything that has continuous stuff that can really hurt you.
Exactly. Royal Decree really screws with this deck because it's so trap heavy. Oppression screws it over royally.
So these are your main board tech just against all those cards that can wreck you.
Exactly. And then we just have the basic Trinade, Hull, and Monster Reborn.
Because
everybody runs them.
Yeah, why would you not run these cards?
Yeah, you have to make room for them. All right, spells, traps. We have 3 Gleipnirs, the Fetters of Fenrir.
It's fun to say that name.
It is. These are your Rhodas for the deck. What's great about these is that they're chainable. They can target with your MST, they can try to flip Decree, they're chainable, and you can get anyone from your deck. If you don't have a tuner in your hand, flip it during the end phase, grab your tuner.
Really good stuff.
Not much else you can say. Like I said, it's like having Rhoda at 3.
I've already seen people try to MST a face down, random MST, and hit into that. And that's just terrible.
2 Solemn Warnings, staple in pretty much any and every deck you come across. If you have them, you're in a good position.
If you have them, why aren't you playing with them?
Bottomless Trap Hole. There's a lot of people that aren't playing this a whole lot. They're playing like 1, but you're not too often you're going to see them in 2s anymore for one reason or another. I run 2 just for the added monster protection. Gravekeepers are still going to be a big deck. They really did. I don't think they got hit at all.
I don't think the one tribute, that was it.
Yeah, just 1 tribute. That was it.
But that doesn't stop them from OTKing you. That's the thing.
You know, Bottomless gets with Necrovalley on the field, it'll get rid of that recruiter.
Big decks that this is easily playable against is Samurais and, of course, Gravekeepers, both which are taking up almost 50% of the meta right now.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Personal tech choices, compulsory. My shiny compulsories.
I love them.
Compulsory. I've been debating whether I want to run compulsories or trap stuns. I've been debating trap stuns because then I can flip it during my turn and then just explode all over your face. Trap stun, I can flip it during my turn. If you've got a dug-in field, and you better pray you have a Book of Moon or an enemy controller face down because I'm gonna nuke your field, or I'm gonna go into Odin or Thor, and I'm just gonna go all over you.
Maybe just tech 1 compulsory and 1 stun.
Compulsories though are the anti-synchro.
No.
If they get a Bryonic, granted they can clear my field, but I can just bump that Bryonic back. Stardust is a big one.
Stardust, I bet, wrecks sometimes.
It does, because I can't nuke their field. Granted, again, I have 4,000 attack synchros of my own. They can get over all of those, but now that I think about it more, I may actually end up going to the trap stuns over the compulsories, just because the trap stuns will be able to help a lot more in the long run.
And probably side these or something like that.
Yeah. So then we have the Mirror Forest, Torrential, and Solemn. Not much else there.
Yeah. Very, very good.
Pretty basic. So that's the main deck, 41 cards. I want to try to slim it down to 40. Yeah, I'm not. With the thinning that it has, I may just leave it at 41. Synchros, 2 Odin. That is your boss monster for the deck. These, yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I played against a Saber deck at Regionals. Game 1, 2 direct attacks with Odin.
Wow, that wouldn't have been fun to happen at all.
Once per turn, you can activate his effect. He's not affected by spell or trap cards for the rest of the turn. So
no D-Prison.
No Dimensional Prison, no Mirror Force, Phoenix Wing Windblast, Regeki Break, Compulsory.
He's invincible once it goes through.
We have 2 Thors. This is huge against the X-Saber match.
Really?
It will negate Partial. It will negate Full Helm Knight.
You can only have 4 Squirtles.
Well, that's pretty much it. But those
Or
are
a Dark Soul. No, not a
no,
Dark Soul.
because it doesn't negate the graveyard effects, unfortunately.
Even those two alone are really worth just hitting him.
Well,
and
yeah,
having him hit the
because
field.
because with just one full Helm Knight on the field, if you can't keep a monster on the field, then you can't get through that.
You'll
So
force them to do something they don't want to do.
exactly. So Thor is really good against the Saber matchup. 2 Black Rose. I love 2 Black Rose in this because I can use one if I don't have a pot yet, and I can do it again. I can now do it again. Then I'll eventually draw in one of my 3 pots, and I can send them back. So
And recycling like no one's
exactly,
business.
like I said, I dropped 4. I dropped it 4 times in one duel once.
That would be very terrible and devastating to happen.
At regionals, when we had Cold Wave, I only did it twice, but it was just to see the opponent's face to go Cold Wave and then Black Rose.
And even now, that's still a really good play.
Yeah.
They have to have Effect Peeler or something like that
Yeah.
to stop it.
Scrap Dragon, not much else to say. This I don't have a whole lot of level 8 in this section, just because it's quite a bit harder to do level 8s. Generally, how you're going to get the level 8s is with Gold Fax and Hamster, or Gold Fax and Monk.
Oh, so it's possible, but not entirely there all the time.
Yeah, it is, but like I said, this deck spams level 7s like it's nobody's business. Thus, again, the 3 Pot of Empresses. Bryonic, Mistworm.
They're because they're good and
They
they're
are,
synchros.
and we actually can make level 9s in this fairly easy.
Really?
Just by getting the 2 goat tokens on the field, getting Vanitas on the field, and sending either a white or black goat to make her level 3.
Oh wow. Pretty
And
good.
then so if your opponent has a Duggan field, you can either black rose them or you can bump them,
Wow.
whichever you want.
Really good.
Stardust, not much to say there.
He's a Stardust.
He's a Stardust. Scrap Archfiend, level 7 beater.
Yep.
When in doubt.
When in doubt, beat their face in with an Archfiend.
Chimera Tech, Ice Side Cyber Dragons. So for the Machina Now the 3 that really pull their weight in this deck. Voltic Bicorn. Voltic Bicorn is a beast. This deck's worst matchup is Black Wings. Fortunately, it's been nerfed.
Thank you, Konami. This is the one time I was happy about it. They deserved it, and they've been deserving it for a while.
Voltic Bicorn was huge in the Blackwing matchup because when he's destroyed, he sends both players' top 7 cards from their deck to the graveyard. For each trap card that you sent to the graveyard, that is one less way the Blackwing player could kill you.
That's true.
And so it was just a huge card. Pretty much every time I could do a level 7 and I didn't bring up Black Rose, it was Bicorn. Plain and simple. Bicorn was the star player for that weekend.
He's huge.
Ancient Fairy Dragon. This is actually a new addition because I got thinking about it the other day when I played the Gravekeeper deck.
I knew you were going to say that.
I'm like, why didn't I have this in here? So he's a new addition. He is great against Gravekeepers.
I tech those against Gravekeepers too.
Just huge. He doesn't have not a whole lot of tech, only 2100, but his butt is huge.
Therefore, he's going to live.
You just synchro him in a defense position, and they're going to have a compulsory to get him off the field.
They have to warning or compulsory him, otherwise their valley is gone.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how, they only have 3. I have 1, but they don't have a monster that can get over it because they don't synchro.
And you have recycling, which is your 3 Pot of Avarice.
Exactly. So if they get rid of him, I can still get him back. And Ancient Sacred Wyvern. This card is a beast.
He was gonna live with like 10.
If you can get him and Odin on the field, it's game over.
Wow. That's a big statement right there, actually.
It is. Ancient Sacred Wyvern, when your attack is higher than your opponent's, he gains attack equal to the difference.
That's a big attack in some cases. Holy crap.
When the Gladiator Beast deck that I played against, I had Stardust Dragon on the field, and this was actually a different version of this. This was actually a Decree version that I was running. And I had Decree face up, Stardust on the field, and I dropped Ancient Sacred Wyvern at 5600 attack.
Wow.
He scooped.
Yeah, I think I would scoop with that too.
So, late game, if you have like an Odin, or if you're winning, he's a great level 7 drop, because his attack will just is probably a game-ending attack.
Yeah.
If you can get it to go through.
Yeah.
So that's the extra deck. Side deck.
For the moment.
Side deck for the moment, yeah, until we know what the meta is going to be. 3 Prohibition.
I sided that this Saturday too.
You got that from me.
Oh, I did? I didn't know you were citing
Oh, yeah.
this.
I've been citing prohibitions for probably the last, I'd say 6 months or so.
Really? I have not known this.
I cite prohibition because every single deck, whether it be meta, non-meta, every single deck has those 1 or 2 cards that it relies on.
That's true.
I have played against Gravekeeper's deck called Necro Valley.
Yes!
They couldn't get it off the field. I have played
Necro
Gladiator
Valley.
Beast decks called Bestiari. They couldn't get it off the field.
That's pretty bad.
The only reason why I don't main deck it is because they don't have the room. So it's
Yeah.
side decked.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And it's easily a good... If you won the first round and you're going into game 2, that's... Wow.
And another good thing about Prohibition, especially in this deck, is that it forces your opponent to waste their MST to get it off the field. You only have 2. This makes them waste it because they need to play their cards.
You can't set with Prohibition out there.
Yeah. 2 Cyber Dragons. Machinas, sided in against Machinas, sided in against Gravekeepers. The only card the Gravekeepers have is Commandant. They can get over it. And they're going to try to hold on to their Commandants to get Necro Valley on the field. So unless they're turtling behind a Spy,
Yeah,
monster-wise, they're not going to have a whole lot of answers to get it off the field.
that's very true.
So it's good against, like I said, Machina. It's good against Gravekeepers. It's also good against Gladiators. You
Because
know,
he's huge.
because they need to kamikaze
Laquari into him,
a Lakari into him.
which is not a very happy moment to do.
System down again. Machinas.
Because Machinas really
Machinas are probably going to be. They're probably going to be big at the outset just because Overload went to 2. But only time will tell. I generally side 2 because you always find that gadget player that wants to try to be funny.
And he wrecks face up until later on when people are like, screw
Thunder
it.
King Rayo. Good in really any matchup. Gadgets, they can't search. You can destroy the fortress. Glads, they can't search with Proving Ground. You can destroy Gyzerus or Hurt.
Stops Gravekeepers with
Gravekeepers.
Samurai is all that
Just really
jazz.
good overall around card. My Portuguese Juju Masters.
Leonardo. I can't even say that.
Again, I won't offend our Portuguese comrades by slaughtering their language.
But I will offend them because I cannot speak Portuguese.
It was a toss-up between this and then the Nordic one, Gamir, the 1900 one. Because they essentially have the same effect. He bumps it to the top of their deck, Gamir back to the hand. And generally the matches I side this into is Gadgets and Gladiator Beasts.
Oh, Beast really don't like that card.
Because they're both level 4 and whatnot. And I was considering Gamir because
That's a crazy.
he would give me better level 8 synchro options, whether with Vanitas or with Goldfax. But overall, I went with Jujutsu Master because he sends it back to the top of the deck. It sets them back a turn. Whereas Gamir just sends it back to their hand.
Which is effective, but this will hurt them a lot worse.
That's why Razor went down to 1 for a while. That's why Phoenix Wing Wind Blast rose to popularity, because it set your opponent back a turn. So I run 2. Summon Limit. I run Summon Limit because for some odd reason I don't have any chain disappearances.
Poor man.
Poor man. I know, I have to run a Summon Limit. Summon Limit hurts me as well. Summon Limit, both players can only summon twice per turn. Mostly for the Samurai matchup. It was for the Blackwing matchup as well, but they Fender, so I'll probably find some space for that because Samurais are still good, but they're not nearly as explosive. So I can probably side that out for other things as well.
They can still OTK, hence the reason they're there.
2 Valors. I had them main in my Decree build, but I'm going with a trap lineup now, and so I really have no need for the Valors mained, and so they're side decked. Again, you have your Light Beach, you have your DD Warrior Ladies, you have your Breakers, you have your Full Helm Knights, your Pauschals, you have all of your Saber Synchros, basically Synchros in general. I used Effect Valor on a Bryonic 2 turns in a row. I used it, I potted it back into my deck, and then drew it again.
Wow. I bet he wasn't happy about that.
Yeah, he was not happy, because then I also drew Dark Hole with that pot.
Wow.
So then on my turn, I nuked his field.
Ripping it up over there.
Yeah, it was great. So 2,
really good side.
yeah, it's just good. You know, it's one of those, if you can't find room for it mained, side deck it. It's just a good rule of thumb.
Yep.
As far as matchups go, X-Sabers are the easiest matchup. I have yet to lose to an X-Saber deck.
That's really good.
With Nordics.
That's really good.
Generally because X-Sabers have no way of getting over Odin. Once you get Odin on the field, it's pretty much game over for the X-Saber player. Because they would have to get out Bryonic in order to get it off the field. And I have Solemn Judgment, Bottomless, Warnings. I have a lot of outs to Bryonic. Well, generally
and if you're siding your Valors and all that
Exactly.
jazz going on there.
So, Sabers are the easiest matchup. Siding is fairly simple. You know, you probably don't even have to side for them just because the main deck can just do so well. The toughest matchup, as I mentioned earlier, was Blackwings. But they've been nerfed, so I'm not worried too much about them. I'm more worried about the Frog Monarch deck, the Formula Monarch.
Very true.
Because Caius, and Caius especially, but Reza also wrecks this deck. Thus the sided Valors. Because Caius will just remove your Synchros, Rezas will send them back to the extra deck. So that's probably going to be a tough matchup. The Frogs are going to be huge to begin with. What I'm actually probably going to do is I'm probably going to take out the summon limits for 2 DD Crows.
Just to go against the Frogs.
Just to go against the Frogs, and their DD Crow is just good against a lot of decks too. It's good against Samurai to get the Grandmaster out of there, or whatnot.
And this is just my own little note here. They did not hit Frog Monarch at all. I was expecting Frog to get hit or Formula to get hit myself, but they didn't.
Yeah. So that is the Nordic deck. If you want to come find me online, I am on YugiOhETC.com. My screen name is Play-Doh.
I'll leave the link in the description.
So if you just want to come find me, hit me up on there. Can chat, talk, whatever, duel. Just hit me up. So
Okay.
rate, subscribe,
Yay!
all that other fun jazz.
All that other fun YouTube jazzle,
So,
razzle frazzle.
alrighty.
Yeah, this has been One Best I Can Be with my good friend here with his awesome Nordic deck. And please, like he said, comment, rate, and subscribe. Tell us what you thought of this in-depth look on the deck and on the side and everything. And please, come back again.